From the studios of Books in Motion, this is Damon Abdallah reading The Balance of Shadows, Book 3 in the Shards of Shadow series by Joseph R. Lallo. Now, let's begin with the prologue. You've got to keep a lot of plates spinning, a lot of pots simmering. It's a good policy for life in general, but it's downright essential for someone hoping to make a living as a freelancer. Alan Fontaine fancied himself a photographer. These days, that meant making most of his money doing assignments for Cox Media. It was a company that could be best described as a paparazzi distribution center. Mr. Cox was somehow clinging to financial solvency using a very old-fashioned business model. Alan tried not to dwell upon the potential for Cox Media to go belly up at any moment, taking his bread and butter with it. Instead, he did his best to keep his other side hustles simmering. Wedding photography? He'd do that. Professional headshots? Absolutely. Anything at all that required a camera and a skilled hand to operate it was fair game for him. To that end, today he was anxiously excited to be moving a pot from the back burner to the front. He glanced to the passenger seat of his car. A manila envelope sat snugly beneath the seatbelt. A very official seal beside the return address identified it as coming from the American Board of Criminalistics, a suspiciously made-up-sounding name for such an important organization. The envelope contained a hard-earned document, certifying that he had demonstrated the proper knowledge and skills to serve as an officially sanctioned forensic photographer in the city of Philadelphia and in the state of Pennsylvania. After years of earning his living taking pictures celebrities didn't want taken, it was thrilling to finally get a chance to take photos in the name of truth and justice. A soft slurp shook him from a carefully sculpted daydream of turning in a packet of photos that would put a deranged arsonist behind bars. He glanced to the passenger seat again, this time shifting his eyes a little farther, where a high-quality metal thermos drifted precariously above the envelope, seemingly of its own volition. "Be careful with that coffee," he said. "The last thing I need is that to show up on the first day of orientation with a stained certificate." The words were directed at the shadow cast across the bizarre passenger seat. There were any number of things that would have been strange about talking to one's shadow, but in Alan's case, there were several additional oddities. The rising sun was shining in the heavily tinted passenger window, so the shadow was being cast in the wrong direction. It was also being cast in the wrong shape. Rather than matching his weary but fit frame, it depicted a short, impish female form, with hair that roiled up from her head like flames. Most curious of all, the shadow had a pair of piercing white eyes that glared wearily back at him. It was Blot, a creature known as a shade, who had managed to massively complicate Alan's already complicated life.
"Have you ever known me to spill even a drop of coffee?"
she asked. "I'm just saying now would be a bad time to start." She nodded and leaned aside. Whereas she was cast on the passenger seat, the shadow of the thermos was cast where it was supposed to be. Her inky form slid across the car's interior to the shadow and put her lips to it. A long, slow slurp drained the last of its contents. The emptied thermos dropped down to the cup holder. A light nudge of the shadowy hand caused it to vanish entirely.
"Happy?"
she said. "Very."
"Good. Give me your phone."
"What for?"
"For practicing."
He slowed to a stop at the next intersection and pulled the smartphone from his pocket. It tugged from his fingers before he could offer it, and the button on its side depressed, lighting up the screen. The phone turned this way and that, bobbing lightly as Blot's form fiddled with its shadow. Alan made a turn when the light changed. The shifting light placed the shadow more easily in reach of his passenger.
"Did I ever thank you for installing these dark things on the windows?"
Blot asked, glancing at the sun through the smoky gray coating. "You don't seem to be very big on vocal gratitude," he said.
"Well, thank you," Blot said. "I was getting sick of the stupid sun whipping me around the car all the time."
The screen of the phone went dark from inactivity.
"By the void! You stupid humans and your touchscreens."
She tapped the power button and started tapping at the shadowy screen again. A few more taps failed to produce any effect, so she held out her other hand. With a magician's flourish,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?